What's going on? Your boy Bowie's in the building. And as you can see, I'm playing something that I've never recorded and put up on YouTube before. And that something is a game known as Project Wingman. Yes. And as you can see, this game is all about, flight. Really. You know what I'm saying? So, as I, fly around and do my thing on this game and y'all get to watch the footage, I'm also going to talk about, current events. I mean, not geopolitically, but more locally, because it is Sunday, August 15th, 2021. And the first week of school has already been underway. We started on the previous Tuesday, which was the 10th. Yes, you heard me right. It was a Tuesday. Monday was a teacher work day, and that was good. And because of the nature of the school, basically we had the kids get oriented with their shop classes on that Tuesday. So really, Tuesday wasn't even the real first day of school. It was really Wednesday. And so that was the day where I saw my students for the first time. At least half of them anyway. So, much like last year, I'm teaching liberal arts 1 and 2, geometry, and math for college readiness. And I actually had an option to change that. Me and my, fellow math partner in crime, Mrs. Epps, we were given the option to have her take all my liberal arts 1 classes, and in exchange I get all her math for college readiness classes. And it was tempting, and it certainly makes sense to do next year. But I got a lot of kids in that class, in that liberal arts class, that I think I can do a lot of good work with, so I elected to keep those classes. But next year I am gonna switch it up. Play with me. Yeah. But so this year is very, very different in a lot of important ways, because for starters, we got so many new kids that are entering the Travis system. Due to COVID last year, our enrollments was cut basically in half. A little bit less than half, it feels like, to be honest. And, for good reason, because we didn't know how we would be affected by, at the time, the regional strains of COVID-19 from Europe, I think Brazil, South Africa, and somewhere else. Maybe the American strain, I don't remember. We thought that at a certain point we would be, sent back home en masse like we were the year prior. And though that didn't happen en masse like we thought, a lot of students definitely got sent home on quarantine. And students did wind up catching COVID-19. And as a matter of fact, last year, I caught it myself. Perhaps I'll talk a little bit more about that later on, because I don't want to make this about myself, but at least not totally anyway. But, so we didn't know. Y'all seen that movie? That was dope, right? So we didn't know how COVID would be affecting our school year, and so we played it super safe at school. We cut our enrollment to less than half. Everybody wore masks, mandatory. Everybody. And we played it very, very close to the chest just in case things went down. And that was a smart move because I made a video about a year ago where I was like, going back to school in person is going to be a mistake. The kids are going to act a fool. Blah, 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 blah. I should have had more faith in my students. The kids handled the mask thing very professionally. Did they complain about the mask? Sure. But did I have anybody outright refuse to wear the mask? Hell no. No, they didn't. Now, some of them would wear the mask below the nose, and you'd have to tell them to pull it up and stuff like that, but they did wear their masks. You could tell they were trying to be compliant while balancing their own comfort, which is more than what I can say for their adult counterparts. I don't even need all these rockets on this one target, but bam! Yes, sir. But yeah, the kids did their thing. They learned a lot of math, and there wasn't but a couple of us. My biggest class had 12 kids in it at one time, and I can count the number of times all 12 of them were in class on one hand. You know what I'm saying? So mostly it was under 12 all year. Oh Lord, I could stall and fall. Hell no. But that was last year. This year, at one point I had 22 students registered in a class. And though I still have small Travis-sized classes, I still have classes of 5 and 6 and stuff like that. I also have several classes that are well above the maximum that I had last year. And that's both a good thing and a bad thing. It's obviously good because it means that we're serving more of the community. It means that, I'll get to teach more kids math at a time and stuff like that. But it's also bad because that's more bodies in a room. It's no longer possible to do social distancing, at least not at the recommended 6 feet apart thing. Like last year I had my desks over 6 feet apart because I only had 9 of them in there. And for like the overwhelming majority of the year, in the majority of my classes, all the kids were very, very spaced out from each other. It was good. I'm certain it helped contribute to the relatively low COVID infection rate last year. But now, I've got desks 6 inches apart from each other. I have 18 desks in my room as opposed to 9. And so they're in much closer proximity to each other, which is whack. And what makes things even worse is there's no longer a mask mandate. And all of that has to do with our dumbass governor, Ron DeSantis. Y'all have to forgive me. I'm not trying to be partisan because there's silly Democrats out there too. This one happens to be a Republican, but there are silly ass Democrats out there. But Ron DeSantis he seems to be eyeing a presidential run in 2024. That's what he seems to be doing. He seems to be trying to fill in the niche left by Donald Trump. He wants to be this firebrand Republican that is an ideologue for conservatism, which is to say that he wants to be anti-mask, anti-vax, or at least put that energy out there anyway. Quote unquote pro-freedom, anti-illegal immigration, which is to say anti-immigrant. That's the kind of rhetoric he puts out there. And what he did was he put out an executive order, basically, that does not allow schools to do a mask mandate. Entire school districts. And if they disobey him, he'll withhold their funding. I find all this highly ironic, because conservatives are the same people that whine about government having too much control and taking over people's lives. Well, here's an instance of a government official telling schools that they can't do everything to keep people's children safe. But because he's advocating for something you agree with, you don't care. He's doing something that you like him to do. You don't care that it's in direct conflict with something that you say that you're against. You don't care that it's a tried and true example of government overreach, because that's what it is. At its most basic level, it's government overreach. And then he's gonna withhold funds from education purposely as a way to get schools to heal. That's to say that that's draconian is being too kind, honestly. I bet not hit me. Oh Lord, help me Jesus. I gotta dodge these damn. Okay. I'm trying to dodge these missiles, But anyway, to say that stuff is draconian is too kind. Is garish. And I don't even think Donald Trump would do that, because Donald Trump doesn't give a damn enough about a particular topic to be that invested ideologically in it. Because one thing I will say about Trump is that his supporters give him too much credit. They think he's a guy that just wants to end corruption because he just really cares about people and he wanted to get this country back on track. Donald Trump only cares about one thing and one thing only. Donald Trump. That's it. That man don't give a damn about America, the White House, nothing. He cares about him and his own ego. He's been that way his entire life. Oh Lord. Y'all seen that dramatic slogan? So he's not enough of an ideologue to really care about this stuff. He's the one that makes the Kool-Aid. He doesn't drink it. You know what I'm saying? But his supporters, they drink all that Kool-Aid. And they want all the proverbial smoke. And that's where Ron DeSantis comes in. He's also made anti-critical race theory legislation, even though Florida does not teach critical race theory in its schools. I would know. I've been teaching for 10 years. I've never heard of anything having to do with critical race theory. Nothing. Plus, I was educated here. We did not learn critical race theory in school at all, because it's not taught. in a K through 12 curriculum, but that didn't stop him from making that kind of legislation. And all that was red meat for his base. Does he care? Nah. Nah. But anyway, point of the matter is what I'm trying to say is, because we have an ideologue as a governor who is trying to replace the former president, and he's trying to out Trump basically. He's going to institute these wacky policies that have the potential to really harm people. And I don't want to jinx it and say that it will do harm, because I don't want that to happen, but I'm not going to be surprised if it does. I'll say this: there's a student that I saw for the first time on Wednesday. Didn't see him again on Friday because we have block scheduling, of course. Look at that boy. And I get this little email talking about kids been placed on quarantine. Already, first week of school, people are already being placed on quarantine. That doesn't sit very well with me. That doesn't bode very well for how the rest of the year could go. Yeah, it just doesn't bode very well. But hey, maybe more people will get their ass vaccinated. At least I really hope they do. That's another thing that makes these times interesting is, now we have 3 or 4 actually different vaccines for coronavirus, which was not a thing months and months ago. It wasn't a thing last year, really. We didn't have viable vaccines for this virus. And so now people have the chance to more or less fully inoculate themselves against this thing. And we have a contingency of people that are actively deciding that they will not vaccinate. And the reasons that they give are various and dubious. Some people say that the vaccine is untested, which is nonsense, because this thing went through very rigorous rounds of testing before it ever came out. So to say that it's untested is just objectively false. Some of them try to say the vaccine is not effective. Again, that's poppycock, because not only is this vaccine effective, it's actually one of the most effective vaccines that's out there. You're talking about a 99% rate of keeping people out of the hospital once they've been fully vaccinated. That's effective as hell. Even if you wind up getting testing positive for the virus, again, after being fully vaccinated, the worst symptoms you can expect are some sniffles. People don't go to the hospital, and they certainly don't die after being fully vaccinated. Now, we have had instances of folks that got the vaccine, and then a couple days later they catch COVID, and they think mistakenly that means that the vaccine ain't working. But it's like, no, you don't understand how vaccines work. It takes time to go into effect, stupid. It takes about 2 weeks, and they tell you that. You still have to conduct yourself as though you're not vaccinated for at least 2 weeks after you get vaccinated with the first shot, because it takes time for your antibodies to build up. But people don't read, they don't learn, and they don't research. And that's something that's highly, highly disheartening, especially as a teacher, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very disheartening for people to be this damn dense when it comes to information that's easily accessible. Like, we live in the age of Google, bro. We can learn anything that there is to know about anything. If you want to know the gestation period of a monarch butterfly, you can learn that. And you can learn it in seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a random ass fact that you could just look up. But you can learn it. And it ain't no problem. And so you could certainly get educated about how a virus works, how it infects the body, and how a vaccine stops it. And people won't even do a quick Google search. They'll just sit there and repost some bullshit ass information, misinformation that they done found on the internet that fits their confirmation bias. It's bananas, yo. It really is. And it's very aggravating. Mad aggravating. Hi, David.
We're pressed for time, so listen up. Cascadia's prospect.
Yeah.
Our national bounty.
Okay. Alright. I gotta be captain, I don't know what you're gonna call it. I gotta be the captain right now. So I gotta help out the wifey right now. So I'm gonna cut this video short. There will be a part 2, best believe that. 1.